looking at? We're looking at SGA because of his availability and consistency. It's Jalen Brunson due to his usage and his leadership. It's Jaylen Brown for how they're playing. It's Cade Cunningham because Detroit's in the top of the East. The MVP talk is going to be wild, and it'll be interesting to watch. MVPs just don't dominate. They survive the season.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
Welcome in. It is in-game live game day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number one. I figure I'd be here for 4 hours and through the end of the college football playoff game. On a little earlier tonight, as we were last night, with the kickoff start in about 10 minutes or so. College football semifinals part two. Hard pressed to match the excitement and the good game we got last night, but hopefully we get something similar. We got a little college basketball, a little NBA, a little hockey as well, but mostly college football tonight, and that's okay. Before we get to it all, game time. What's betting you off tonight, Gabe?
Well, you know what? I'm ready for this football game to see who's going to play in the national championship. But we saw Miami get it done last night, and somebody's got to remind Mario Cristobal that he hasn't won the championship yet. Before you go full-out jerk revenge tour mode on everybody, you've actually got to nail down the title and the crown first. And from his behavior with the poor girl from VRBO or whatever it was, the title sponsor, to his disastrous interview with Scott Van Pelt. And I don't know, you can say what you will about ESPN, but, you know, I haven't ran into too many people that say, damn, I hate that Scott Van Pelt. Like, I've never really seen Scott Van Pelt ever get into it with somebody before. But Mario Cristobal was out for blood last night. But I'd say settle down, Mario. You haven't completed the obstacle course yet. There's still one last step, but unbelievable stuff. Miami will be playing in Miami against the winner of tonight's football game. So great storylines. And, oh, yeah, Mendoza grew up in Miami. So let's do this thing.
Yeah. And, oh, by the way, I don't even think Miami could sell out a game in Miami, a championship game, the way their fans really don't support that goofy club. So
their Indiana fans will. The Indiana fans will sell it up. You know what's crazy, actually? Tickets are going for $3,200 right now, the cheapest ticket to get into the national championship game. It went from $32 to $3,200. They're a bunch of bandwagon jumpers. And you know what's wild? It's the first time that a team is playing, you know, and like Miami actually played at home before, like 1991. It doesn't happen, right? It doesn't happen. I guess, you know, you could say USC played in the Rose Bowls and stuff, but they weren't technically championship games then, right? You know what I'm saying? So,
Right,
yeah, Miami
right.
is going to be playing at home. It seems to be a big thing recently where teams play at home all the time. But Miami playing at home in a title game, but will be wearing the visiting uniforms.
There you go. There you go. All right, opening pickoff time. This is where Gabe and I plant our flags, and we kind of go from here throughout the program. I'll start, Gabe. I'm going to do what I did last night personally. I didn't bring it up on the show because I know FanDuel doesn't, for whatever reason, they don't allow you to buy the hook. But I always do, always, a relative phrase. So I'm going to do it tonight because it did help you last night. If you bought the hook last night with Ole Miss, you got to push. And there's the greatest example we can give you of why it's valuable to buy the hook. I'll do the same tonight with Oregon. I like them. I think they can win, but I'm getting 3.5. I'll take the 4 minus the 120. Sacrifice a few winnings. Lay 110 to win 90 versus winning 110 to win 100 when it's normal with a normal vig. So I'll do that. I'll buy the hook. I think Oregon has a shot. I'll buy into the rhetoric of you can't beat a team twice. It is difficult, and you can make a point of Washington did beat Oregon twice with Dan Lanning, but I'll counter that with Kurt Cignetti had an Elon Phoenix team lose twice to Furman in the 2017 1AA playoffs, including the second game in the postseason. So he has actually lost to a team twice in 1 year. Not that I'm really betting on that because of that, but give me Oregon, long story short, plus the 4 minus the 120.
Yeah, cute reference about Elon, Scott, but I'm not sure what that's going to mean tonight in this football game on the field.
It sounds good, though, right? It sounds good in the argument.
Listen, I've been riding Oregon. I actually picked Oregon to win the championship before the playoffs started, like even kind of a couple of weeks before that. I said, I got a feeling it's going to be Georgia and Oregon. Well, I was wrong. Georgia got eliminated. And I hate to abandon ship, but I'm going to. The Oregon Ducks are just too injured. Number one, Indiana are better than people realize, and better than I've realized. It took me a while to buy in. Dude, they score 40 points a game. They give up 11 points a game. They throw for 229 yards a game. They rush for 221 yards a game. Like, just doing one would be good enough. Like, they do everything well. They don't make mistakes. And the problems, guys, like, just point blank. Like, Jordan Davison isn't playing, all right? He's like their best running back. Oh, yeah, by the way, he's got a broken collarbone. Oh, yeah, by the way, Noah Whittingham is their other best running back. They're saying, they said, oh, well, you'll see if he plays. He's in uniform. I'm not sure. Anyone who's been paid attention to this knows they've converted 2 linebackers to running back for tonight. Like, they're that desperate. And in this crazy NIL world, you're thinking, how is that possible? The Ducks, the other 2 running backs left in the transfer portal.
Wow.
They left. So they've got 2 running backs tonight, but it's not their guys. We'll see about Whittingham. Lot of pressure on Dante Moore tonight. For the record, the old beating the same team twice thing, it is real. This is the 6th time in the college football in this playoff format. This is the 6th time that there's been a regular season rematch. The team that lost in the regular season has won 4 of the previous 5 times. The only sweep was Ole Miss that beat Tulane twice this year. So it has been hard to beat the same team twice. We've seen it so far this year. So if you want to play that side of the trend, history is on your side. But give me the Indiana Hoosiers minus the 3.
All right. I'm going to go over in the game. Give me over. It's 49.5 now, so the graphic may say 48.5 when I gave it to the boys this afternoon. It did go up a point, and that's a pretty big point. Well, why so, Scott? Well, because 7 times 7 is 49. 48.5, you need 7 touchdowns. 49.5, now you need 7 touchdowns plus. But I'll take my chances. We get a field goal, maybe 2-point conversion or something goofy. I won't let that stray me from the over 49.5 if that's the number you have. It's going against the grain. You mentioned Indiana's defense is phenomenal. They've allowed 23 points in their last 4 games combined. But it was 30-20 thanks to a defensive touchdown, albeit in the first meeting. I think we get there as well. Give me the over 48.5, 49.5 if need be.
I think this game is going to open up. They played earlier in the year. They got to 50 only in Eugene. It was raining a bit. Mendoza talked about how the crowd noise did give them problems. And he said he's looking forward to having an Indiana pro base because he said, yeah, we had problems running our offense in Eugene and up there at Austin Stadium. It was super loud. But I'm going to start off slow here. So I'm going to wait for the in game as far as the over. Let's go under 10.5 in the first quarter. It's minus 150 right now. Under 10.5 first quarter. Both these teams, it's going to be a slugfest. Indiana are kind of systematic. They score, but They run the ball. They kind of like, they're not like a one-play, 58-yard bomb type of team. I'm going to go under the 10.5 in the first quarter, and then I'll jump in on the end game as the game goes on.
All right. I like that philosophy, Gabe. I'll take it one step further. I'll go under 24.5 first half, which is obviously against the grain of my over 48.5, but I think it's going to be a slower start. And if you throw out 2 blowouts against would-be 1AA teams earlier in the year for Indiana, they only had 4 games out of the remaining 11 that actually had 25 points or more. They just kind of pack it on and bury a team. They never give up. They never take their foot off the pedal, which creates all the overs that they do have this season. But I think first half, kind of a feeling out process. Give me the under 24.5 points first half.
I'm going to go with Dante Moore. So I am on Indiana here, but we're not going to be exclusive Indiana props. Give me Dante Moore over 224.5. This is one of these bets where it depends on where you're betting it. I've seen it as high as 229.5 at FanDuel, actually. And I've seen it was like 221.5 at some spots earlier today. So, like, with these props, guys, especially with college, they're going to be a little bit different. But I'm going to go with Dante Moore. Listen, he threw for 234 yards against Texas Tech. And they didn't have to, right? He just kind of did. I just told you guys, they don't have their running backs, right, tonight. Literally, there's going to be it's on Dante Moore tonight. If you like the Ducks, Dante Moore's going to have to play the game of his life because he doesn't really have running backs to hand it off to too much. They're going to do a lot of quick hits. They do have a ton of wide receivers, guys. So, Dante Moore's going to go over. He's gone over this number in 5 straight games. Over 224.5, Dante Moore.
As well will join us. College football night here on a Friday under Grid.
It's going to open up Pandora's box. But I will say this. I do believe players that sign now, like Najee, should not be eligible now, but should have to sit out and come back in next year. It's just a slippery slope. And I agree with people like Tom Izzo. I don't like it at all.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
OK Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not gonna happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carden Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back in Game Live Game Day here on the Grid. I got one more main one and then 3 other goofy ones we'll have some fun with here with our pick, Scott and Gabe, hour number 1. Give me over 215.5 receiving yards, Indiana. They've hit this number 9 of their 14 games this year, including exactly, or actually not including, but exactly 215 first game against the Ducks. And remember, they had one less possession because of a defensive touchdown. So I'm going to say Mendoza goes for 216 tonight. I think they put some points on the board. High scoring game, like I said, with everything you said and done. Over 215.5, my last main play, Gabe.
All right. I'm not sure it's such a high-scoring game. I like the over last night, and it ended up opening up. It was a weird game. It ended up flowing. I do think this game opens up, but it sounds crazy to say this about an Oregon Duck team, guys. They don't want to get into a track meet with Indiana. Oregon's offense isn't as explosive as like the reputation and or even their numbers, right? And now, like I said, if Whittingham can't play, like he's in uniform, but I think they could be lying about it. I don't think they want to admit it. You're not converting linebackers to running back at this time of the season unless you're in a panic about your depth right now. So they're going to have to throw the football. But, all right, so we'll get to the picks. They're flipping a coin right now, just for the record. So I got Indiana -3. We're going to go under 10.5 in the first quarter. I think whoever gets the ball will run the ball a little bit. And hopefully, you know what, a touchdown and a field goal, and I still win the bet at under 10.5. Dante Moore over 224.5 passing yards. Surratt's got a touchdown in 8 straight games. He's got a touchdown, like he's just a touchdown machine, guys. Indiana are very diverse and they mix it up, but when it comes to throwing the ball into the end zone, they go to Surratt. He's their guy, point blank. Becker is Mendoza's roommate. It's always good to know who the roommate is, and it's always like the backup tight end or something, but Becker's a good receiver. His prop is only 44.5 yards. Becker goes over 44.5 yards. Surratt gets the touchdown. Let's rock. That's all I got for now.
All right, I got 3 specials here. Will a team score 3 times in a row? I'm going to say yes. It's -2 to 1. I know that's a big price, but you'd be surprised how many times that actually happens. 6 of the 9 playoff games, we've had a team score 3 times in a row. Team scores first wins. I'm going to say no at +150. A buck and some monster trends. 9 playoff games, 8 times the team that scored first actually won. But I think this one could kind of go back and forth, and who knows actually who scores first, right? And then no score first 6.5 minutes of the game, +115. Only 3 of the 9 playoff games have we had a team score the first 6.5 minutes. 6 to the no, including last night. I'm going to say no again tonight. I think this is going to be a little bit of a struggle first half. And then, like I said, my theme is to pick it up a little bit second half. So 3 times in a row, yes. Score first 6.5 minutes, no. And team scores first wins, no, getting plus odds on those. So we're all locked and loaded. Kick off here in a couple of moments. So with that, let's bring in our good buddy.
Let's kick it off now.
Yeah, all right, there we go.
It should be noted, the Oregon Ducks will get the ball first.
Okay. Oregon Ducks with the bright green versus the bright red. This is a Christmas spirit day. No 2 ways about that, Cope. So where are you planting your fork? Is it Indiana or is it Oregon?
Yeah, you know, everyone I talked to, well, at least prior to this show, I feel like is on Indiana, and I got to admit I'm on Indiana too. I just think, first off, everybody that I've talked to in Atlanta tells me this is like an all Indiana crowd. So I think this is like basically if they won in Autzen on and they had a pick 6 that game, Mendoza barely throws interceptions. So you're in an all Indiana crowd. I just think with Oregon's opt-outs or transfers, whatever, and the injuries going on. And also I just think Oregon's offense has been challenged against good teams. So I went with the Hoosiers. I know that there's that trend with the playing a team twice, and that's fair. But I also think if you look at most of those cases, the first win wasn't on the road at the team. You see what I'm saying? Is like the second game being no longer on the road. I think it's a different number when you dive into that. But
it's interesting you say that. Mendoza brought that sort of aspect up in which he said, I didn't play well in that game, and he brought it up. He said, I'm looking forward. He goes, it's not in Indiana, but he goes, I know a lot of our fans are going to take the stadium over. And he admitted that the crowd noise in the Duck game got to them. He said that place was really loud. It was raining, if you remember, Colby. And he admitted, I love Mendoza's honesty. He goes, the crowd noise, he goes, I look forward to not having that crowd on me tonight. And I think it makes a difference for them. You're right.
100%. And I just think there's so much, like Texas Tech has been kind of an offensive liability at times this year. So I just think Oregon, they're gonna have to take shots down the field with pick 6 right now. Pick 6.
Oh my God! What a way to start!
Yeah,
that doesn't help my under 10.5. First play of the game, Dante Moore throws an out pattern and Indiana sits on it.
Oh my goodness!
And look, I outlined this thing, so that's a good start.
Why do I bet any unders?
Yeah.
Why do I ever bet any unders? Fortunately, I went bigger on Indiana, but dear God, wow. Just like that.
That's the JMU transfer, D'Angelo Pons. Yeah. Yeah.
I had to no score first 6.5 minutes. So much for that. I couldn't get 6.5 seconds, let alone minutes.
And good call. Yeah,
That's
6
tough.
seconds.
That's
11
tough.
seconds to be exact. 11
Yeah,
seconds.
11
Just for the
seconds.
record,
All right, I won that
14:49.
bet then. Yeah.
But
11,
good
I had
point.
like
Nice to
5
name
pounds to
drop
one.
there, Colby, with the JMU player there, in which people said, oh, JMU have no business being in the playoffs and all this type of stuff. Well, about 13 of their players are in the playoffs right now, and they're on the verge of winning a national championship. So don't tell me JMU players can't play. Half of them are on Indiana, and that's why Indiana's good right now.
And I'm so sick of that take because you look at them, their best defensive players, Kamara on the D line, their linebacker, Aiden Fisher, D'Angelo Pons. This might be the first corner drafted this year, right? 3 of those guys, JMU transfers. Then on the offensive side, Kalen Black, who ran for 100 yards last week, JMU transfer. Elijah Surratt, who had over 120 against Oregon in the first matchup, JMU transfer. And then here's another thing. All those JMU transfers from this year, they're starting quarterbacks now at UCF. They're starting running backs at Oklahoma State. 3 guys on their offensive line are at one of them's at Iowa, 2 of them are at UCLA.
And they were still good this year, which is amazing.
Great. Yeah.
I mean, it's a lazy take. Yeah, exactly. And it's a lazy take because the guys they've hit too. When they go, it's not like they're just sitting on the bench. These guys hit. They're good players at wherever they go.
Yeah, but now it's getting scary next year because now he's bringing in like real recruits, which is almost like, oh boy. Now he's got Hoover coming in at quarterback. He got Marsh coming over from Michigan State. Scary stuff.
All right, quick little break. We'll check out the updated lines with Colby when we come back.
It's going to open up Pandora's box. But I will say this. I do believe players that sign now, like Najee, should not be eligible now, but should have to sit out and come back in next year. It's just a slippery slope. And I agree with people like Tom Izzo. I don't like it at all.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
OK Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not gonna happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. So, a minute or so into the game, literally, right? Less than that. We're kind of moment of truth here for Oregon. They did get a first down. Here you go. We're talking to Scott and Gabe talking
they're
to
at midfield now.
College Center. Yeah, they got a first down at midfield at the 48-yard line. So, What do you think? I know you're on Indiana, Cole, but I mean, it just got 35-7 written all over it, or like last night, Gabe and I and yourself, you joined us, right? We're watching the game, and Miami's really kind of dominating the whole first half, right? The score didn't indicate that, but certainly the play on the field did. And in the end, we had a great game. Same thing here, or is this going to be the blowout like we got with Indiana, Alabama?
I mean, I kind of think it's going to be the blowout because in the first matchup, it was Mendoza who threw the pick six. But, it's so early to tell. My thing is, I just think Oregon's offense, I mean, they just dropped a pass, but pretty one-dimensional against these power schools. Like, look at their top four teams they played. They settled for field goal. Like, they didn't put up a lot of offensive points. So, obviously, it's early. They can still keep this game close, but giving away a pick
That's
six
why the Dante
early,
Moore prop was good, Colby, tonight. You knew he had to throw tonight.
Yeah.
Look, he's already, there's no running backs in the backfield. Empty set, right? Dumps it off.
Another first
and
down.
They pick it up.
Another first down. Yeah.
Oregon are punching back on offense
today
right now.
I saw a stat today, guys, where I don't know. I don't have the other numbers, so I don't know how crazy this is. But the average Oregon drive, because of all their field goals, was only 24.5 yards. I'd like to see what other teams' averages are, but man, that's awfully low. Isn't it 24.5 yards? Is their average scoring
I don't buy
drive?
it.
Well, is that for every drive, like every team, or is that just against like top 25 competition? But
No, every team. Yahoo Sports had it out
every
there.
Team.
24 yards. Yeah.
Well, this possession, I know it's early, guys. I know it's early, but if they don't get a touchdown here and they get a field goal, I think stuff like that matters because you're going to basically have Mendoza not touch the ball, for a good chunk of time. But like they weren't able to score touchdowns against all the good teams they played. Even Texas Tech, they got a touchdown on the short field after the turnover, and then the last one was with 20 seconds left in the game. They had already known the game was over. So I do think it's a real problem for them this year.
I'll tell you what, Dan Lanning, he's going to get to the point too where the reputation, it happens early about not getting over the top, right? About having good teams and not getting over the top. There's a lot of pressure on him. Now Cignetti just sort of comes in out of nowhere, and you got to deal with this monster. As you stated, they get a field. I think if they get a field goal, they sort of settle down. But it's a good point. I mean, yeah, Mendoza hasn't touched the ball yet. I get that, but Mendoza only throws for 229 a game, right? It was he kind of won by default this year a little bit, the Heisman. Like, if you want to look at his numbers, and I like him, I'm not criticizing him. You know what I mean, though, Colby? If you want to look at the numbers, it's not really, you'd be like, really? That was the Heisman? Like, if you just look at the numbers, all right, who won the Heisman in 2025? Quarterback, 33-6, 229 a game. You'd be like, 229 a game wins the Heisman nowadays, right? But they won. They went undefeated, and he's a good kid. And he's a nice kid, Yeah.
I thought Pavia should have won it because he was putting up better numbers, and I also think we saw Indiana go to the playoffs with Rourke last year. And if anything, Rourke had a torn ACL like the whole season. So it's like,
I think their offense was better last year, Colb. I was more impressed with their offense last year, to tell you the truth.
Well, I will say this. Surratt was dinged up towards the back half of the season. Maybe that had an impact because he is their best wide. Well,
it's
last
more
year was
balanced
their best
now,
wideout.
Scott.
Yeah,
it was a little flashy last year, but it was more balanced now. And Mendoza is a better quarterback than Rourke.
Yes.
But I think it's important for them to score a touchdown because this has been a problem against good teams. They have not been able to score
finish
touchdowns.
The drive off.
So
I think
it's
this is pretty positive
for your team. Yeah.
They've moved the ball, guys, without a penalty either. There hasn't been a penalty on this drive, and they're picking up first downs over and over and over here. Like, they're moving the ball.
Yeah, they just got another one. I was going to say, would you go 4th and 3? And they end up getting a first down anyway because it was 3rd and 3. So, all right. So I was even going to ask you, is the debate, if there is one, between Moore and Mendoza going number 1, if Dante Moore throws another pick 6 and just has another awful game, is that discussion over? But at least the kid's coming back and leading the team down the field now.
That'll mean nothing.
I think he's going to come back to school next year. That's why Oregon hasn't signed anybody.
Good point. Yeah,
it's about the throws they make. If he throws 5 pick sixes, you know what I mean? I don't know, Colby. I think you look at the quarterback class this year in the draft. Like, why wouldn't you jump in? Like Mendoza shouldn't be the number one pick, but he's going to end up being the number one pick.
In-game live, hour number 2 coming up.
It's going to open up Pandora's box. But I will say this. I do believe players that sign now, like Najee, should not be eligible now, but should have to sit out and come back in next year. It's just a slippery slope. And I agree with people like Tom Izzo. I don't like it at all.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
Okay, Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not gonna happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, game day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 2. Half-hour start early with the kickoff with the College Football National Championship semifinal game. We had one last night, one tonight, obviously. So 7-0. We had the early pick 6. We're talking with Colby Dant, College Insider, Sports Gambling Podcast Network. College Experience Podcast is his specific one, but the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, a home for Colby Dant, who you see it here all the time here on the grid. So nice little response, Colby. So back to the game. And we'll maybe do a little college basketball here, too, before we're through. But nice little response. They got a first down at the Indiana 17-yard line. The number jumped. I saw as high as 7.5, and I was a little surprised it didn't go even higher than that. But it's down to 4.5, and the over-under is locked. And now they locked it on FanDuel anyway, so maybe we got a little something going on from Oregon. Impressed with the Ducks this drive? Does make it not second think your initial thought on Indiana, but at least, maybe we don't get that 38-3 blowout against Alabama with the response we got out of the Ducks?
So far, yeah, but I still think it's important for them to score touchdowns. I know if it comes to a fourth down, you got to take the field goal with it being this early in the game, but that has been an issue all year. So I just think they got to drive that home. They can't settle for field goals every single time they get to the red zone. They will lose this game by double digits if so. Yeah.
I've got under 10.5, Colby, here in the first quarter, which I'm kind of regretting right now, but I'm thinking, all right, I miss the field goal, hold to a field goal here. Maybe I can get out of this somehow. Hoping not for the touchdown, because I'm a big over better. I usually bet over, so I got cute thinking, no, this will start slow and I'll jump in on it after. Lot of time in the pocket here for Dante Moore. Overthrows it, wasn't really there. But so you think, Colby, that are you convinced? And I just looked at Kalshi and Polymarket because they seem to take bets on everything. So I'm looking, can we wager on will Dante Moore come back to college or not? Right now, just for the record, guys, he is the second choice as far as the number 1 pick in the NFL draft according to the odds makers. So it goes to show his weight, considering he hasn't even declared. We know Mendoza's in. Dante Moore is plus
Chambliss?
450 right now. Chambliss is 22-1, and Chambliss was denied another year of eligibility from the NCAA for the record. So Chambliss is 22-1. Ruben Bain is 22-1, and there's the touchdown. So boom,
nice.
I
think I'm gonna hit that.
That's
bet,
a great
Dave,
answer.
from yesterday.
And that's something to
plus
highlight.
250 bet.
Jamari Johnson and the younger tight end, both those tight ends, they've developed throughout the season. If anything, early in the year, I feel like Oregon was not able to be really lethal with their tight ends. So in the first matchup, I don't know that was a big role where I feel like they've been playing a lot better down the stretch.
And they have had a ton of injuries to wide receivers all year too, right, Colby? As you know, right? Like that's a fact.
Evan
They've had a
Stewart's
lot of
out
guys
for the
out.
year. 5-star. Yeah.
This is why it's big for Dante Moore tonight, Scott. About him like tanking. You're negative, Scott. You think, oh, he threw a pick six, tanking the draft. Like, no, you're gonna be the number one pick in the draft, but. Like playing the way that he is like this without the running backs and just sort of like it could cement him actually over Mendoza and he could lose the game and still be the number one pick, Scott. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like I don't think the number one pick is dependent on who wins the game tonight, but more stock is going up the way that he's playing right now. He has no reason to go back to college, Colby. That's my take. Like your stock is at an all-time high right now, bro.
NIL,
next year, Arch Manning.
NIL money is $4 or $5 million a year, though, Gabe. You gotta, you're not going back for free anymore. So
yeah, whatever, dude. It's the NFL. You're going to be the second pick. You're going to be a top 3 pick in the NFL draft. It's more than $5 million.
But riddle me this then: why has Oregon not got anybody in the portal? The portal closes in a week, and all the quarterbacks are gone. So I actually think they have like a secret deal. I've heard that his family wanted him to come back anyway for one more year. Why wouldn't Oregon go get anybody in the portal just as an insurance policy?
No, you're right.
It almost tells me that he's coming back next year. Yeah.
I heard their name connected with a couple of players before, but I haven't heard anything about any visits. It's like you look at Indiana and they locked up Hoover moving forward for next year. They took care of it already.
Sam Levitt is the only one left to watch because he's from the state of Oregon.
Yeah.
But they haven't even hosted him yet. So unless he's waiting for him to make his decision, because we saw Levitt with Lane Kiffin at LSU. Well, LSU struck out on Damon Williams. He's going to either go to Miami, LSU, or Oregon. But I just find it weird that Oregon hasn't even hosted him yet. Now,
Lagway went to Baylor. Lagway went to Baylor. So yeah, Lagway goes to Baylor. When it's on, so it's amazing, like the musical chairs and I think the LSU Damon Williams stuff was going to scare people away from trying to steal someone now that's under contract.
Yeah.
Well, and then the Chambliss ruling. So Ole Miss needs a quarterback. So if assuming I know they're appealing, but and the same for Chandler Morris at Virginia. But it makes it really interesting as far as who you can get. And the portal's closing soon, guys. It's only open for another, 10 days
it's the 13th or something. I don't know, whatever it is. Yeah. It's only open for 10 days.
Something in next week, I think. But to me, they're running out of. If you had told me he was, he had told the team I'm going to go pro, they would have been after all these quarterbacks because Phil Knight can outpay almost every team for their quarterback. That's how they've had successful quarterbacks. So something's up. I'll say that. Unless Levitt has said, hey, if he leaves and I'm waiting for that would be the only logical thing besides him just saying he was coming back.
All right, 2 things. One, you're right, Gabe. Whittington has not played. Now, I'm not saying he's not, but, first two drives. Yeah, so now you don't have your first 2 running backs. So does that mean
you knew how he was the smoke screen, Scott? Number one, I thought he was playing, but I knew he was beat up. And Pete Thamel came on before the game, and he said, I spoke to people and insiders. He's questionable. What I understand is Noah Whittingham is going to play tonight. And Nick Saban right after said, what Pete doesn't understand is the coaches always lie about who's going to play or not, and started laughing. And I was like, oh, he's not playing. When I heard Saban say that, I'm like, hey, he's not playing.
Yeah, so he wasn't playing. All right, so do we pile on? I can't do it here in New York, but would you not pile on Dante Moore's stats the way he had success throwing the football in that first drive? Do we not do his yardage total?
I mean, you got to like it just because of the amount of shots he's going to take. But I will say, I expect Indiana to make some adjustments. And, going back to the pick six. Now, I know in the first matchup, Oregon had a pick six and did not win the game. But college football teams, win 78% of the time. If you get a pick six, you win the game. So,
wow.
Food for thought.
All
you know what I mean? I mean, I guess they can still cover, but yeah.
Right. And then back to the Chambliss thing. I love him. He's got an NFL arm. I don't need to have him go to camp. I know whether he can, spell cat if you spot him the C and a T or whatever, but he's got an NFL arm. I would take him with as limited as we saw of him over. And I love Dante Moore. I really do. But Chambliss to me is a different cat. I would take him. Would you? In the draft?
Yeah, I mean, look, I would too. I wonder, where they would slot him at right now, the draft experts, because, he's ran two different offenses now in college. But I'm the only thing I'll say is traditionally, and this is kind of changing the NFL. You saw Jackson Dart get drafted and played, I guess at times pretty well, right? Is Ole Miss is kind of a one read offense. Passing the ball like under Kiffin, it's kind of been like kind of a basic one read offense, but I like the quarterbacks. I know it's not healthy for college football,
Scott,
but learning multiple offenses is a good thing.
I fell for Matt Corral years ago, thinking, I don't see why Matt Corral won't be a good NFL quarterback. Right, he's a backup on the Birmingham Stallions right now. Right? So I'm just saying.
I think he's going to get into these camps, and I think he's going to woo these guys, though. I think he's going to get into these camps. And
you can't tell me you don't like hell of a catch there, but you can't tell me you don't like Kyler Murray, but you like Trinidad Chambliss. They're the same player.
No,
I think Chambliss a little tougher. I think he's a little tougher. Yeah, I'd say Chambliss, but I get what you're saying. He's probably, but I think Chambliss showed enough that you got to at least raise his value after that Georgia performance, right?
All right, we wish we were out of time, but I'll bet you guys Trinidad Chambliss is not a starting quarterback next year or 2 years after that in the NFL. CFL, BC Lions.
It's going to open up Pandora's box. But I will say this. I do believe players that sign now, like Najee, should not be eligible now, but should have to sit out and come back in next year. It's just a slippery slope. And I agree with people like Tom Izzo. I don't like it at all.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
OK Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not gonna happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Thanks again, Colby Dan, for joining us. Sports Gambling Podcast Network is his home, and in his podcast is the College Experience Podcast. We have him on all the time, always a lot of pleasure. So, good response out of Oregon, and a nice response, Gabe, out of Indiana. They got the ball at the Oregon 35-yard line in a game in which, some people thought this would be a slugfest, and I kind of thought it would be first half anyway. 7-7, and it figures to be at least 10-7, depending on what Indiana does on this drive. So far, no punts. I got my 7-7, so my bet from yesterday carries over into the second half. Now I just need one more touchdown from Oregon and Indiana in the second half, and I cash a nice little plus 250 bet with each team scoring a touchdown in each half. So a little goofy thing from yesterday, but bottom line is, good job. And maybe this will be a shootout like we got last night, basically second half. 57.5 is now the new total.
Yeah, I took 57.5 during the break there. We missed out on the first quarter, but okay, fine. They're on the 1-yard line now, Indiana. So now it's just who's going to score. Wow. Yeah, they've moved the ball down the field with ease. It looks like this is going to be a track meet, guys. Let's call it out for what it is. It was 30-20 in the rain the first time. They're both really good defenses, but you've got really good coaching staffs as well. And if there's anything, Indiana, it's a little, he stepped out of bounds. So it's 1st and goal on the 6. They said he stepped out of bounds at the 6, gets tackled. All right, so he got tackled at 6 here. But the thing is, Scott, Indiana, you can throw on them. But I'm a little bit wondering about that because, you look at their passing and people are like, all right, that's where you can sort of attack them. They're also up by so many points all the time. So I always find that to be very deceptive, guys. When you have a really good team and people are like, oh, look, but they give up this many passing yards. Like, yeah, they're winning 47-0 every week.
yeah.
So, the other team's throwing, they're going to give up yards and whatever. Sure. So I think it's a little deceptive, but we have seen that, dude, people are getting open on the Ducks. The Ducks had a big drop once. Dante Moore has had time in the pocket as well. I think that's sort of from a football key here, Scott. Oh, and there's a touchdown pass for Mendoza.
Wow.
Yeah, they're just both these teams. The offenses are executing. Touchdown. Omar Cooper Jr. Cooper. One of 9 Hoosiers that catch balls and whatever, dude. There's a million of them on this team.
They are so balanced. You said it. I mean, they really are. They're like the quintessential balanced team. I don't know if they have any superstar players on offense, but they all can run. They all can catch. There's not one guy we need to go down, shut down this guy, and make him throw to somebody else. It's just it
makes
really
them hard
is amazing,
to stop because you don't really know who they're throwing it to.
Team is.
A good example is the Miami Hurricanes. All right, when they're throwing the ball, they're throwing it to Malachi Toney. Point blank. You know what I mean? It's take Toney out of this, and Carson Beck is going to be screwed. All right, so let's take him out. Who do you take out with Indiana? Yeah, you got Cooper. I don't know. Surratt's their leading touchdown receiver, and he didn't even touch the ball yet, basically here.
Yeah.
Right? They got multiple running backs, and then you got the Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback that doesn't really make mistakes and can throw. That's what I'm talking about, Scott, about NFL. Look at that throw that he just made.
Yeah.
It wasn't, you can say, oh, he was open. Yeah, he kind of threw him open. It was one of those, he didn't lob it, bro. That was like an NFL throw, Scott. If you watch that and you put him in an NFL, you put him in an NFL uniform, you'd be like, yeah, that's an NFL highlight. Mendoza can make these NFL throws. And he's, the only thing is people think that he hasn't faced enough pressure and let's see him under duress and all that type of stuff. But he's pretty mobile as well. There's a lot to like about him. Is he a franchise saver? I don't think so.
That's
But he's not a fraud, though, in the sense, Scott.
Right.
But, yeah, he's not. But who is, Scott? Who is?
Yeah. In this draft.
Arch Manning next year?
I don't think so. But he made progress this year. I will say that about Arch.
But all of his big plays were with his legs. Weren't really with his arm.
Indiana has 7 guys with 14 receptions or more. That's how deep they are.
Yeah.
7. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Look
for
at their touchdown. I'll get there if you have their touchdowns. So look at their touchdown, guys. How balanced it is. Stats here with their touchdown scores. It's insane. Everybody's got touchdowns on the team.
7, 8,
and Buffalo
6,
Bill
6. Yeah, 12, 13, 5. You know, I mean, it's just like every.
There are college teams, Scott. NFL teams don't have that diversity where that many guys like, oh yeah, like, you know what I mean? You could be like, oh yeah, I'm a running back, and the other guy's got 8 touchdowns. You'd be like, oh, you must not get the ball. It's like, no, I got 6 too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they do a good job as well of keeping everybody happy and sort of like they feel like they're part of it. Yeah, I can get a touchdown too. It's not just going to go to Surratt, or it's not just going to go to Henry, whatever. Like, they do mix it up. That's what makes them so dangerous.
Yeah. He already has probably, and he's going to continue to get more coaches fired, Kurt Signetti. Why? Because all these schools now are saying, listen, this guy's doing it in Indiana. No more excuses. You can't do it here in Minnesota or Iowa or pick some.
Well, what's unique,
that's
Scott,
always
he's done it without money. And I know, listen,
Yeah.
I'm not naive in the sense that Mark Cuban is at the game tonight, and Mark Cuban basically is now heavily involved, but he wasn't before. Like, they were terrible. No one thought Signetti. I didn't think Signetti. I was like, who cares? The guy from JMU came to Indiana, Scott. Is a Michigan fan? I'm like, you think I'm scared? Like, I'm like, who cares?
Yeah,
like,
right.
you know what I mean? Like, so good for them. Who, Indiana? Good for them. Right? And then I was sort of like, I don't really, like, you admitted it. You said,
Yeah.
I don't believe it. Nah, the uniform. Like, if they were wearing a different uniform, I'd believe it. But I don't believe it. I was you last year. I was like, nah. They had one good year or whatever. Like, and being a Big Ten guy that I am, sort of like, it took me about halfway through the year this year. And I'm like, all right, I got a note to self. Stop messing with Indiana. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, I learned the lesson. I was like, you know what? Maybe they are that good, actually. You know?
Yeah. I bet their team total under. It was 8.5. Yeah, I thought no way. You know, they had
what,
the
this
1
year?
year.
Oh, that's
Yeah. I think they had all the transfers from JMU last year. Yeah, all right,
you figure out
just
a
1 year. They
one-off.
had an easy
you won't do it
schedule.
again.
Yeah, he's not gonna do it again. You know, all those guys are gone. Yeah, here they are in the national.
That's what I said. You didn't really play anyone last year in the Big Ten. They did. They had an easy schedule last. I was like, you kind of had an easy schedule. I'll give you credit for it, but let's see you do it again. And oh boy, they're doing it again. Like, they're
doing it again.
And now we'll talk about that, Scott. Now they're getting real players coming in next year.
Yeah. All right, more coming up.
It's going to open up Pandora's box. But I will say this. I do believe players that sign now, like Najee, should not be eligible now, but should have to sit out and come back in next year. It's just a slippery slope. And I agree with people like Tom Izzo. I don't like it at all.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
Okay, Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not gonna happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. So they just completed the first quarter. We've completed the first hour in about 5 minutes or so anyway. So Oregon now with the football. They've had 2 drives, 1 pick six, 1 touchdown.
This pace, you
I
just
know,
said
I'm
the
trying.
quarter 1 hour. It's like, whoa,
I'm
you're
trying.
throwing halftime here. I brought it up earlier. I
trying.
was like, oh, I see you're not following the last night's schedule, are you? Like, they're usually pretty militant. 7:30 means 7:39, 7:40 kickoff. And we went to a break at 7:40, and I told the guys, I said, yeah, they're not even on the field yet, and it's 7:40 right now.
Yeah.
It's
a little
Friday
slower
night.
tonight.
Yeah, it went a little quick last night for them, Scott. Right, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they went a little
too
quick.
quick.
They figured, you know what? We only have 2 more games. We're going to milk this. It's a Friday night. We're going to run as many freaking commercials as we can tonight.
Yeah. Now, what's the difference? People don't have to stay up, or that people don't have to get up early the next day. It's not a work day, tomorrow. Yeah, this is the one that's going to be 12:30. The overtime game. So 58.5 is the number, and Oregon. By the way, 14-7 blew by. I already lost the first 6.5 minutes scoring. I'm in the process of losing the under 24.5. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. I mean, I know why.
You
I've done it before, and I've had success.
6 on the first play of the game.
Yeah.
Especially these teams. You don't think these teams would make mistakes?
Yeah. At this point. Yeah. So.
No, me too, Scott. I'm an overbetter all the time. But my deal is, how many times during the bowl games and the college football playoffs have we been here sweating out a total going, oh, don't worry, it'll open up, right?
Right.
And it generally does, but I figured why bet it first? And of course, the night I don't, there's a pick 6 on the first freaking play.
First play. Yeah.
like you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Like,
I got a buddy, right? He's in a pool, one of the confidence pools, and I'll ask your advice on this later on. But bottom line is he needs Oregon to win, and he wins $800, right? And he's going to split it with me for whatever reason. So I could have hedged right away with Indiana, right?
So you're really pulling for Oregon now.
Yeah. So Oregon gets the ball, and I'm like, you know what? Let me see Oregon. If Oregon could score, then we get this down to pick them or so.
Yeah. You wanted to buy back somehow. Instead, they get a 7-0 lead.
Yeah, in the first play. I didn't even have time to think about it, hedging it. Just like
I thought the same thing, not the same thing, but I was like, I bet on Indiana quite a bit, and then I was like, I'm gonna put Indiana in a bunch of teasers now. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, like they're only 3, so I'm like, I'll make Indiana +7, and I'll do it with the NFL or something tomorrow. Right. But I actually choked. It was like 10 minutes before the show, or whatever, and I was looking, and I was like, I'm not really locked in on anything that I wanted to mix it up with. You know what I mean? So I sort of I was like, I'll deal with it after. I sort of thought, I got to get in on Indiana more. And the same thing happened. So I was mad when they scored. I was like, son of a bitch. Like, I actually wanted Oregon to score and buy back on Indiana, too. Right? I was sort of like, nah, I wasn't thinking it was going to be a pick 6 by the Ducks. I'm like, these teams don't make mistakes. So, of course, they make mistakes. Guys, the Ducks give up 15 points a game, and Indiana gives up 11 points a game. Like, Indiana already have 14 points. The Ducks only give up 15 points a game all year. Like, that's how, the algorithm is getting shattered here kind of right now. In-game total's 58.5, and I wouldn't be betting the under.
Yeah, not after what we've seen. I can't do it. And Indiana, as I said, at the top there, that's why their unders go first half and then over second half, because they don't take the foot off the pedal at all. They certainly won't in a national championship.
No, good point. They usually get better as the game goes on. They dial it up,
Exactly. Yeah. So, not that this is going to come into play seemingly today, but what would you do? So I got a buddy wants to get in this pool, right, before the college football playoffs started. He's not computer. There was some special file, some Excel file. He couldn't open it up, right? So he's got to bet all 40 games, Gabe. And he says, Scott, if you put it in for me, I'll give you half of it. And I'm Bruce. I'm like, Bruce, no, you don't have to give me half. It takes me 10 minutes to put this in. No, I'll give you half if I win. I'm like, Bruce, you don't have to do that, right? So back and forth we go, whatever. I put it in for him. If Oregon wins tonight, he wins the pool, which is just crazy because this guy's the worst gambler in the history of gambling, right?
So he should have did he flip a couple of bucks at least? Did he hedge?
Well,
did he flip a couple of bucks?
No, he didn't. He didn't. And I asked him, I said, are you going to hedge? He said, no. So if Oregon were to win, he would have to give me, about $500. Would you take it? What would you do?
Oh,
I feel guilty.
that's a good question. Well, you made the picks, and he did insist over and over that he wanted to split it with you, right?
He did. He did. What do you think?
It's going to open up Pandora's box. But I will say this. I do believe players that sign now, like Najee, should not be eligible now, but should have to sit out and come back in next year. It's just a slippery slope. And I agree with people like Tom Izzo. I don't like it at all.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
Okay, Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not gonna happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 2, if you will, of our 4-hour extravaganza. So Indiana up 14-7.
5-hour extravaganza tonight, Scott.
Yeah, 5 hour,
maybe.
probably. Yeah.
Mendoza just scrambles, shows those legs. Told you, he's sneaky fast. Like, he can take off. As you see, he's athletic. Look, that's some speed there, a little bit of speed.
And they were pinned back, too, after Oregon had punted. They had them at third and 8. Yeah. So we got to get a stop here out of the Ducks. You know, the level of college football, stats in the NFL are pretty solid to me. Stats in college football, though, are so skewed because the competition, you got 4 cupcakes generally at the beginning of the year. We could pile on the stats like Texas Tech was scoring 70 points every game. And then there's different levels of good. You could be good. You can be really good. And then there's like that next, like really, really good. And these teams don't face that many really, really good teams. That's what makes this college football playoff so difficult for these clubs. You look at most of the big boys' schedules. They don't play, generally speaking, even back-to-back really good games. They always take care of the Georgias and the Alabamas and the Ohio States and the Michigans, by giving them a cupcake, if you will, before one of those games and generally a cupcake afterwards. Whereas now you're playing really, really good teams back-to-back-to-back. And the numbers, you could have the greatest defense in the world against the softer teams, but there is a huge difference between being a really good team and being a good team in college football. And that's why sometimes the numbers are very misleading.
Yeah, I think the SEC, that's kind of the SEC's problem. They're so kind of insulated, but the conferences are getting so difficult right now, in which it's impossible to, you're right, before, even as up to a couple of years ago. I mean, Michigan went 15-0 a couple of years ago. I think we had 2 or 3 hard games. Like, God, I remember, like, I feared the Ohio State game. We had a scare against Illinois. We had to beat Alabama and Washington, right? But you're right. It used to be like, okay, there's 2 games, 3 games we got to worry about. I think now in this modern era with the expansion or the crossovers, it's pretty tough. Like, suddenly Michigan, we had like 6, 7 tough games this year, and we ended up losing 3 of them, right? Yeah. So I hear what you're saying, though. This guy, it's a toss-up. I think a good analogy is, and I used to defend Clayton Kershaw about this, people say, oh, well, Clayton Kershaw is looking at his postseason record. I'm like, all right, let's look at his postseason record. He's like 10-8 or something like that. Look at Randy Johnson's postseason record. Look at like all these aces postseason records. Very few of them, Scott, have some sort of dominant record. They're always pitching against the number 1 ace and a good team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so it's sort of like the games become toss-ups, right? So you look at all these great pitchers, guys, and you'd be like, wow, I'm surprised. I thought that guy would have a better postseason record. And you're like, nah, he's 12-11 or whatever. Yeah, because he was pitching against the number 1 ace all the time of the other team in the playoffs.
Yeah. You're just not going to win all those games. Simple as that. Same thing with batting averages. You expect a 300 hitter to be a 300 hitter in the postseason. It's just like, no, you're facing the better teams all the time.
No, now you're only facing top pitchers. So listen, Oregon gets the stop here. They were moving the ball a bit. And, there was a personal foul on the Ducks, too.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, boy, all right, you're really aiding and abetting them here. You're going to be in trouble if you're going to start taking penalties. But they got a big sack. There was a weird play where the ball got batted up in the air and Mendoza caught it. He caught it himself. So that was not a pretty little sequence here. Let's see. So, no, it wasn't batted in the air. They're freaking lucky. Mendoza was going to throw it. The guy on the Ducks kind of knocked it out of his hand. It went in the air. A big offensive lineman on Indiana tried to catch it, and somehow it bounced back to Mendoza. Yeah, it was one of those weird plays. Yeah.
Wow.
That wasn't a pretty sequence for the Indiana Hoosiers.
I don't know if that would have been ruled a pass. If he tried to throw it again, I don't know if that was a fumble on the initial.
That's a good question.
Kind of bop.
I don't know. I would have said it was a fumble. It wasn't a pass. He wasn't moving forward. He kind of had the ball. He was kind of hanging out. The ball was a little low. Good question, though. Yeah. They're lucky that wasn't a turnover, but just as soon as we start giving our flowers and our props to how great Indiana are, they just delivered quite the little sequence there. I'm sure Cignetti's steaming on the sideline right now. What the hell was that?
Yeah. It popped up in the air. The quarterback then hit it again. Then an offensive lineman hit it. Then the quarterback got him, Mendoza, and then he scrambled and he's holding onto the ball like it's a loaf of bread. Where they're lucky one of the Oregon defensive linemen didn't just try and slap at it.
They were really just moving it, too. They had the big run from Mendoza. They had there was a personal foul on the Ducks, and I was thinking, oh, boy, these guys are getting in the field goal range. And then, boom, it went backwards fast. So the Ducks defense stepped up. Now the Ducks get the ball, but here we got a big drive. Of course, now, Scott, we both get burned. I bet the under 10.5, and you bet the score to 6 minutes. Now it's watch it slow down now. Watch it now. Oh, now it slows down. now the defense to step up. Oh, yeah, great. Yeah. Thanks, guys. But this is a big drive here. Sort of, they're at the 13. Does Indiana pin them and get the ball back quickly, or do the Ducks march down the field and tie this football game?
Yeah. This kind of feels like last night a little bit, right? Last night, Miami dominated the first half and really, what were they up 4, 17-13? What we both thought really they should have been up a lot more. If Oregon there's 9.5 minutes left, so there's plenty of time here, but get a couple of first downs here and, maybe get on the board here, 14-10, 14-all, and you gave up a pick 6. You had Indiana had the ball again in your own territory. You ended up not getting any points out of it. Not the worst first half in the world. I think get out of here 14-7 or maybe 14-10, depending on what happens here on this drive. So
no, it's a competitive football game.
55.5. Yeah,
this game is still wide open right now. Hopefully, you know what? At this point, I bet on the in-game over here. So, what's the number did I get? I think I got the number that it is now. What did I get? 57.5. I got.
Yeah,
I got a 57. So it's 55.5 right now.
Yeah, not the same. Not the same. So.
As far as the props are concerned, I can't bet the in-game. I have access to the player props before the game. They don't do in-game player props. Like, I can't bet the passing yards now and stuff like that. which is
That's
frustrating.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's
Yeah.
pretty weak of them, to be honest with you. It's kind of lame. I can bet the touchdown scorer in the game still, but it's the only player prop I can bet. Like I can bet who's going to score a touchdown, but no yards and stuff like that. Oh boy, what the hell just happened here? Do they have the football? They just got the boy, Scott. The total just. I'm like, oh my God, I can't even speak. But I didn't see the play. I sort of looked away, looking at the line. I look up and I see the kids on Indiana. Oh my God, what a weird play, guys! Dante Moore on his own 4-yard line. He drops back to pass, Scott. The ball hits the running back shoulder pad.
Ugh.
They don't have their regular running back, Scott, and it just killed them. The kid Dante Moore went to pass the ball, and his own running back ran past him and hit the ball out of his arm with the shoulder pad. Don't tell me that's not because he's not on the field all the time. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, dude, you just knocked the ball loose. Indiana caught it and recovered it. It's deemed an interception.
They're at the Oregon 2.
That's not Dante Moore's fault, but they're on the 3-yard line.
Right. Wow.
And do they score on the first play? No, they get stopped.
No. They're going to get 2 gift touchdowns here. Look at this. Look at this. What is that?
I've never seen that. I got to be honest. Another one of those I've been watching football since the 70s. I've never seen that happen. Have you ever seen that happen? Where a quarterback's minding his own business, he drops back in the ball, and he hits a running back for some reason, like runs past him like a speeding bullet, and sort of grazes his shoulder pad, grazes the ball into the air. I've never seen that in my life. Never.
The running back was coming in like it was going to be play action, like he was going to get a handoff. And the quarterback, Moore, is going back to pass, and he hits the running back as the running back is coming forward. Oh, that's absolutely just like running back not used to being.
Wow.
This
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I told you guys for the game. I said they don't have their running back. Yeah, they got stopped 2 times in a row here.
It's going to open up Pandora's box. But I will say this. I do believe players that sign now, like Najee, should not be eligible now, but should have to sit out and come back in next year. It's just a slippery slope. And I agree with people like Tom Izzo. I don't like it at all.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
OK Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not gonna happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 2 here. We're the boy, I tell you, just Oregon is just shooting themselves in the foot. Just absolutely.
They really are.
You know, I mean, you gave them 2 touchdowns, a pick 6, and now another one where quarterback, I don't know what happens with the exchange there, but bottom line is he fumbles the ball inside his own 5. Gabe, Indiana picks it up. Did take him 3 plays, but they got it on 3rd down. That's the bottom line. And now all of a sudden, realistically, a game that could be, 7-0 Oregon, or at least 7-7 anyway, is 21-7 in Indiana on top. So
yeah, those they're making mistakes,
15.
but also, you got to give credit to Indiana. Teams seem to make mistakes when they play them, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of that's the thing with Indiana. If you're an Indiana hater right now, you're like, oh, they really like. If you're a Duck, we gave them 14 points.
Good. Yeah,
it's like, we gave the ball in the 2 and it was a pick 6.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, take those away and it's still 7-7. Right? Like they're up to 21. Right? It's just one of those, they ambush you and it's like if ends and buts were candies and nuts. And it's like, well, either way we're losing. But a disastrous start for the Ducks. Like you said, like they don't have their running backs for the most part here. Okay, it's on Dante Moore's shoulders. First play of the game, he throws a pick 6. Marches down the field after, but there's just too many mistakes, like the penalties, the turnovers. This is a huge drive for them right now.
Huge.
Like, if this turns into 28-7 or something, it could start to get ugly. And, you're going to say Indiana get the ball to start the second half.
Yeah.
And they don't let up Indiana. Signetti's not like, oh, all right, we'll take it easy. It's like, no. He'll win this game 58-7 if he can.
Yeah. Remember, he's a Nicky Quick guy. Nick Saban. Both these guys. Well, 4 of these head coaches were.
He'll take the pedal off them. He's not going to embarrass people. He's actually buddies with Dan Lanning. But he's just one of those, we're going all in. He wants to get dialed up for next week. You know what I mean? Like, he won't take the pedal off the metal till they're in the 50s. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just stating his mindset. That's the way they are.
Right. So, big drive for Oregon. Yeah, you go 3 and out here, and Indiana scores again. Although you don't really know about the Indiana offense. They haven't really had to show that much, but they did have the one drive that went for a touchdown. So, but bottom line
is, they can't just run the ball,
too. Come through.
That's the thing. They're good at running the ball, Indiana. So if you spot them too big of a lead, they're going to start you a little bit. I'm not going to say they're going to start trying to score, but massive drive here. That's why I played Dante Moore, though, over his passing yard prop, Scott. I figured, all right, they're going to be playing from behind in this game. Like, he's not going to have a choice, and they're not even hiding it. But you've got an empty back set all the time. So there's no running backs in the backfield. You don't think that makes it harder for Dante Moore and easier for Indiana, knowing, Scott? They're like, dude, this kid, he has to pass. They're not even disguising it. Like, there's no one. He's lining up in the shotgun, Scott, by himself.
Yeah. Every drive or every play. That's why, I should know this. This is what we do for a living, right? But if you would have told me I knew the one running back was out, but if you would have told me the other running back, who's actually their leading rusher, is
I
out
didn't know
well,
Whittingham was as injured as he was because they lied about him playing, and he was listed on the props.
And that's where I was going, Gabe. Listen, if you're going to get into gambling and all this other stuff like college football,
you listed him.
There has to be an injury report. You can't go into a game like this and tell people the guy's playing and he's not. You just can't do that. I mean, I wouldn't have bet Oregon. I wouldn't have. I just, there's like,
and also, like I said, even the ESPN insider, Pete Thamel, right, said, no Whittingham. They said, I hear he's going to be good to go. And like I said, Saban chirped right after. Coaches say a lot of things right before games. And down goes Dante Moore. He just got sacked. Oh, boy. Yeah, this is not going to end well for Oregon. This is turning into one of those. This might not end well for them.
Yeah. Well, that 3 in a row, I might hit that bet. 3 scores in a row. I got 2 right now with Oregon.
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
So,
at this rate, it's 3rd down and long here. It's third, especially in these championship games, semifinal, whatever. In these big games, it does because you figure, the teams are evenly matched, it won't happen and stuff. But the wheels always fall off for one team, or later, whatever. One team will storm back. Remember one game we did a couple of weeks ago? Both teams scored like 3 times in a row.
Yeah. Both teams
on each other.
I forget which game that was, but yeah, I do remember that. So
they just sacked him again.
Man.
They
and it
gotta
might as
get
well
out of
be
this
in
first half.
Bloomington this game. Like it's all Indiana fans. Like it's like a home game. Yeah, the wheels have
Why
fallen
not?
off.
They've been saving up for 50 years for this. You know, they've had this
Yeah,
little
they got the
quarters in a jar. They got 20. They got like 15 jars full of quarters waiting for Indiana football.
Well, I saw
to go,
Indiana
you know.
fans boasting about that. Like they were online. They were like, "Oh, look!" Like they were showing some hotel bar. They were like, "This is supposedly the Oregon hotel, and it's all red." And they were showing off. It's like, guys, the Oregon Ducks are in a big game every 2 weeks. This year, the first time in 200 years for you. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's why the tickets are $3,000 for the national championship game. Because if you're an Indiana fan, you're going to that game. You want in, right?
Absolutely. I mean, wow. That's
At
crazy.
Miami.
All right. Yeah, that's still pretty good haul. You know, that's Oregon is obviously further, but you know, it's still pretty good hype for Indiana fans. But
and I said earlier, so even though it's a home game for Miami, Indiana are the higher seed. So unless Indiana willingly wants to wear white, right? They can say, okay, you know what?
Right.
You know what I mean? But Indiana have control of the uniform matchup in this game. They are the designated home team, so to speak.
Interesting. So I'm assuming if they're wearing red today, they're the home team today. They would wear red next week if they were.
Yeah,
red,
and
right?
Nettie does not seem like the type of guy, Scott, that wants to facilitate anything the other team wants.
Yeah, no, nothing at
You
all.
and I talked about like the North. This is different. You and I talked about the Tulane Northwestern, and we agreed. I'm like, dude, you're just a jerk off, the coach of Northwestern. It's like, what do you care what the kids on Tulane wear? If I'm playing Miami in a championship game, no. I'm not letting them wear I'm going to be like, no, make them wear something they don't wear. I don't want to make them feel even more at home here. Like, no. Like, we're not letting them wear their patented orange jerseys. Not that it really matters, but yeah, tickets going for $3,200 right now for that matchup.
Wow. That's something. That is something. All right, in-game live continues here on the grid. We'll take live when we come back.
It's going to open up Pandora's box. But I will say this. I do believe players that sign now, like Najee, should not be eligible now, but should have to sit out and come back in next year. It's just a slippery slope. And I agree with people like Tom Izzo. I don't like it at all.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
OK Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not gonna happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Oregon punts the ball, and Indiana has the football looking for the killer shot. That's really the bottom line. So leading already 21-7. Welcome back
now.
Oof.
Are they really
Well,
going to rout him? I didn't think so, but maybe. I don't really see what's going to change right now. The Ducks are in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, a lot. 21-7.
I'm going to do it. I'm laying 16.5 right now.
Oof. You know what? We've said it. They don't I've watched Indiana football and kept track of them anyway, right? A lot, and they go up. They pick a score 28-7, and they'll end up winning 42-14. You know, they don't stop. They just don't.
What I don't like is, sometimes guys, the team can be down 14 points. Even last night, we were watching Ole Miss, and it was like, all right, Chambliss was struggling early, but it wasn't like doomsday type thing. It was more like, all right, guys, just sort of calm down. Everything's fine. You're right there. You're just sort of dropping balls. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oregon guys, they're doomsday. They're falling apart. You can see it in their faces. They're in a panic, and there it is. There's our Becker prop to the over, Scott, I talked about. Over 44.5 yards. Oh, no, it's 36 yards only. Son of that's like the run last night.
Yeah,
I thought it was a ball. I thought I just got it on that play. It's a 36-yard touchdown. But, all right, I got my bet in. I got the 16.5 in right before that.
There you go. There you go. Hopefully people did as well.
As I was saying, as I was talking about, there's a difference between being down 14 and you can see the players and you can see the feel of the game, and it's like, no, it's not. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Watching this, you can tell, Scott, it's not fine for the Ducks.
No, it's not.
Right? Their defense is getting frustrated. They're taking penalties. The guy in the Ducks, the DB tried to pass interfere, and the kid on Indiana still caught it. And you literally saw the frustration of the Duck player. He was like, oh, man, that it was still caught. And it was a penalty, right. And you could just see, it's not like, oh, yeah, we're close. It's like, no, guys, the wheels are falling off. And something you said earlier, it's true. They're not used to playing good teams all the time, but these teams, Scott, are really not used to getting blown out, bro.
Yeah.
It never happens to them. When's the last time Oregon's been blown out?
Blown out, yeah, right?
I don't remember.
Their worst
off the top of my head. I don't know. They lost. Okay, they lost to Washington and whatever, but they didn't get blown out. They weren't embarrassed. You know what I mean? Like Alabama don't get humiliated. They got humiliated by Indiana. And if you're a team, think about it. If you're a boxing champion and you knock people out all the time, and then suddenly you're fighting some dudes, it's just he's not knocking you out, but he's just pulverizing you over and over. Boom, 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 boom. You don't know what to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been. I'm not Rocky. I didn't come I'm a blue blood. I'm not used to getting punched in the mouth back like this. And they're getting effed up right now. And like we said, I don't think Indiana will let up. They'll make it 35-7 before the half if they can.
They will. And again, they get the ball back. I mean, if Oregon goes 3 and out here.
Oh, boy.
It kind of reminds me
this could be 42-7. I'm not just saying.
Yeah.
Imagine, 2-0, we'll see.
There was a Notre Dame game a few years back when Brian Kelly was there. I think it was Alabama. They were playing it in one of the bowls here, one of the playoff games. And it was like a 7-point game. They played the finals.
That was years ago. It was a championship game, Alabama. Yeah.
It was like a 7-point game or so with about 5 minutes left. And I'm thinking, all right, just get out of here. Get it to halftime at 7, right? And then there were 3 quick touchdowns. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, yeah,
boom,
the wheels fell off. You're right before. Scoop and score, pick 6, return. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was just wow. We were in this game for a while.
It's the same thing. You're right. Because you said about 10 minutes ago, you said, you know what? It hasn't been great for them, but if you're Oregon, you're down 14-7. It's not that bad. You know what I mean? And you're right. You kind of look up and, oh, my God, they just murdered Dante Moore, fumbled the ball, and recovered it. And recovered it. Indiana ball. These guys are killers.
Holy fudge.
Scott, 2 minutes ago, Indiana were minus 150 to win the championship. And I was actually thinking it was kind of light. Because I was like, they're going to be more than minus 150 on the money line against Miami.
Wow.
Yeah, it's now 225.
240
now. Wow, yeah. Whatever he scored, bro. The perception will be, guys, every time Indiana does this, it's going to be like, oh, yeah, Miami are screwed. How are they going to beat these guys?
Yeah. Does FanDuel offer I'm sure they do, a hypothetical
Yeah,
no,
it was
they
five
don't.
and a half coming into tonight. Let me see. I probably took it
For
down. I saw
Indiana?
Bet365, 5.5. Indiana
against
were
Miami?
5.5-point favorites against Miami, and Oregon were 2.5-point favorites against Miami.
I'm curious to see what that is at the end of the night. This score going the way it is.
Yeah, it'll be up to 7.5, 8.
It's going to open up Pandora's box. But I will say this. I do believe players that sign now, like Najee, should not be eligible now, but should have to sit out and come back in next year. It's just a slippery slope. And I agree with people like Tom Izzo. I don't like it at all.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
Okay, Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not gonna happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. So Scott and Gabe checking out a little college football. We'll delve into a little hockey, a little NBA, a little college basketball as well. But we've got the 2-minute warning here. So looking at, if they didn't put the dagger on it already, Indiana's looking for the double dagger, if you will, up 28-7. And they got the ball at the 2-minute warning at the Oregon 19-yard line. So you got to figure at worst they're going to kick a field goal here. I will say this, Gabe. On first down, they just ran Mendoza. And I'm thinking, I got a 21-point lead, and I'm in the red zone already. I'm not going to get my quarterback killed. I don't know how many more bootlegs or, quarterback sneaks or whatever I would be running with Mendoza right now. Just,
I saw that and thought the same thing.
Running backs. Yeah, right? Just hand the ball off, coach. Yeah, what are you doing?
Not to mention, too, like if you're Mendoza's agent, it's like, whoa, what are you guys doing? The number one pick of the draft. You got a 28-7 lead, and this kid's dodging tackles out there. I know. Like, I saw that he's running around. I'm like, dude, and even he doesn't have that slide mentality either in him, right? It's like, bro, I would tell him too, but Cignetti doesn't care about what happens to him in the NFL. He just wants to win a championship right now.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, whatever. But I thought the same thing, Scott, when I saw him running around. Not to mention Oregon at some point. I'm not saying they're a bunch of thug kids or anything like that, but it happens in any sport, man. Yeah. Like it happens in every sport. It's like, oh yeah, you guys think it's funny? Hey, it's 42-7, and you got Mendoza running around. How funny is this? Boom! You know what I'm saying? You got to be careful with that. Like it happens. You saw it was a game last week where the other team just said screw it. They just started fighting at the end of it. They started cheap shotting the other team. It was one of the college games. Which one was
the
it?
bowl games.
Yeah, it was not this week. It was last week. But
Let me
remember,
look at the Bulls' schedule.
they were
Yeah,
getting their
I did.
ass handed to them, Scott, in the last fourth quarter. It was like they weren't even playing football anymore. They were just cheap shotting on every play.
Yeah. Let me see the game. What was it?
It's like hockey. It's
Yeah.
in hockey. You're a bunch of wusses if you don't do it.
Texas State Rice or I don't know. Was that
I think
one?
it was Tech actually. We started at cheap shot Oregon. I think that's what it was.
Maybe.
I think that's what it was. Yeah, it was Texas Tech started cheap shot Oregon. Because that's the whole thing. Now look, Indiana just got a first down on the 5-yard line, and the kid did a first down in the Oregon Duck face. It's like, all right, like the kids on the Ducks are going to realize I can't win the game, but I can hurt you at some point.
Yeah. And if you're, you hate to say it, but if you're Oregon, you really should be calling the timeouts, right? Even though I'm sure they're thinking, let's get to halftime. But
you're exactly right. They got to get the ball back again. I think he wants this to stop. He's shell-shocked.
Yeah. I mean,
dude, I don't want to get crazy. I said, imagine if they score 2 times in a row. And that was before even this sequence just happened. So they get the ball back. It could be 42-7 just like that. But could it happen again? Is Lanning worried? Like, let's say they score now. They're still like 1:40 or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
They still Indiana could sack you again and get the ball back again type of deal.
Yeah. I mean, Indiana knows you're throwing. You can't run anyway. Now you can't run because you're down 3 touchdowns and it's soon to be 4. They're just that defensive line is just going to be teeing off. I can see the Dante Moore, agent saying, "Get my guy out of there.
Get my guy out of here." And his shine, every time he throws a pick and gets hit, it just makes it worse. It's like, whoa.
He starts going from 2 to 3
and
to
I
5
wanted to bring that up.
To outside the top 10.
If you're Dante Moore, you want to do this again next year? No, bro. You're a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. Go now.
Yeah.
Go now. A bunch of pick sixes next year. You get injured next year. Next thing you know, you're a second round. Like, no. Strike. I don't care. I get the NIL stuff, Scott. NIL stuff is for guys like Pavia, right? Guys that, you know what I mean, that are sticking around or hoping, like, not for guys that are like Pavia is a guy's a Pavia. He's a 5th or 6th round pick.
Tim Tebow. Yeah, he's a Tim Tebow. And I love Tebow.
Yeah.
So it's not a negative, but
so
he's not.
If you're him, you want to stay. You want to stay. I understand it. If you're Dante Moore, it's like, whatever, dude. I'm going to sign a $58 million contract next month with the Raiders or the Jets or whatever, right? So it's just such big money that strike when the iron is hot.
Yeah. 3rd and 3, we got at the 14-yard line. Hold to a field goal.
Yeah, the Ducks defense isn't quitting. They've been put in a lot of tough spots too. It's it's sort of, you talked about it. They've handed Indiana some points here.
Completely.
And if you're the Oregon defense, how many yards have they given up? Not much. Like, it's not their fault. You keep on giving them the ball on the 5-yard line.
Yeah. I mean,
pick 6, not their fault. Like, seriously, pick 6, not their fault. Fumble on the 5, not their fault.
Not their fault.
They got the ball again, not their fault. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, it's not their fault, really. Like, and that's another thing. If I was a player on the Oregon defense, I wouldn't be too happy with the offense going into the locker room. I can imagine it could be some tension, like, back there.
Yeah.
Moore's going to be pissed off at everybody, thinking, what the hell am I got to leave. I'm going to the, think about it, guys. His mind's going to be spinning at the half. I don't care about the NIL. I got to take the money in the NFL. I got to go. I'm going to go. There's going to be a guy on defenses that are going to be yelling at the guys on the offense. What the F are you guys doing? We're out here busting our balls. You keep giving them the ball on the 5-yard line. Touchdown, Indiana. Oh, boy. Wow.
Look at.
I didn't think it would be this bad.
There's
Surratt with the touchdown.
No, there you go.
There he is, baby. We told you, Surratt, touchdown. Let's go.
Now I got to worry about Oregon. Well, no, not yet. So, but look at the stats. First downs: Oregon 7, Indiana 9. Okay. Yeah. Total yards, it is one-sided, 175 to 74. But okay.
Yeah. Not really their fault because, exactly.
14 minutes,
go on, exactly.
14 for Oregon, 14 for Indiana, time of possession.
Wow.
I mean, just
compare
like
this to last night, where we talked about
opposite.
We had one team that it was 33-11 at one point. We're like, wow, It's 17-16, and it's 53-11, and there's like 19 first downs to 2, and we're like, wow, it's a 1-point game. So, Scott, you just said all these numbers. Don't know the score. You look at that box score, you'd be like, yeah, what was it, a 14-7 game? Like, you know what I mean? You'd be like, no, it's 42-7 right now. You'd be like, no. How's that possible? Look, they're even. Like, what happened?
Yeah. Just like last night, turnovers, last 2 categories. Penalties are even, but turnovers, 3. 3 for Oregon. Wow. Short fields, everything.
Surratt was it was under review if he was down, so we get the touchdown. So Surratt gets the touchdown. That's 9 games in a row where he got a touchdown. And it was plus 105. Pretty good odds for guys at 9. Yeah, it's the Indiana effect. Yeah. No one believes in them. It's like you. It's the jersey scares them off. Ooh, Surratt.
Yeah. I'm believing them now.
Yeah.
What are they going to be? What are they going to be? 5? They're minus 250 FanDuel, hypothetical against anybody. So obviously it's going to be Miami. I don't know why they would have against anybody. But what is that? That's about a 5.5-point favorite, minus 250.
Seems like 6? Getting higher now. Feels like it's getting higher than Yeah. Okay. So what I'm seeing? So what's the number? I got 280 here.
Now I got 280.
Me too.
Yeah. Now just
all right. So let me look at the NFL lines here. Is there a 280 on the money line here?
Yeah, there's got to be pretty close to it, right?
All right. The Eagles are 270. Yeah, and they're 6-point favorites.
Yeah. So about 6.5.
So I'd say 7. Look, it was 5.5, but you can't tell me. And everybody remembers what they saw last, right? So last night, everybody's buzzing about Miami, and oh my God, and it's in Miami. Oh boy, and it's in Miami. Well, now this is what we're going to see last year. Now this, and I think it was 5.5. I'm going to call it now, Scott. I'm going to say 7.5. 7.5 is my prediction. Yeah.
You think? Game's in Miami.
Yeah.
Wow. Over a touchdown, huh?
Yeah, 7.5. How do you not try to scare people off for betting on Indiana?
Yeah. Whoever thought they'd be begging for
and I
Miami?
think their fans will take Miami over.
Yeah. Coach coming up next.
It's going to open up Pandora's box. But I will say this. I do believe players that sign now, like Najee, should not be eligible now, but should have to sit out and come back in next year. It's just a slippery slope. And I agree with people like Tom Izzo. I don't like it at all.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
OK Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not gonna happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. So we got the final minutes here of the final minute, actually, of the first half. And Indiana's trying to, or Oregon rather, is trying to put some points on the board. They're on the move here a little bit, so give them credit, down 35-7. Let's get some thoughts from the coach, Mr. Terry Bowden, host of the Bowden Blitz. You see here all the time right here on SportsGrid. Coach, what do you say, Coach? 35-7. I mean, my goodness, what do you say?
I think everybody, every time you see Indiana, you become more amazed at what they're capable of doing the last 2 weeks. Like Alabama last week, first half this week. They make no mistakes. They cover all their bases. They're so fundamentally sound. They took advantage of turnovers. The back shoulder throws the quarterback's uncanny how accurate he is on his deep ball and on his back shoulder throws. They put pressure on the quarterback. They, like we've said, they check all the boxes, and knowing Kurt, he's going to put the pedal to the metal second half as well.
And they hit you hard. Coach, not just they hit you hard. You know what I mean? Some teams, they stop you. We talked about it earlier. All right, yeah, they only give up 11 points a game, but they're nasty. You don't think of Indiana defense, oh, nasty, they're going to come at you, but they've nearly taken Dante Moore's head off a couple of times, Coach.
I really think in the evaluation that Stignetti's staff does, they look at the demeanor, the personality, the toughness, the meanness, all those characteristics that they look for. Because I saw a chart today with all the playoff teams. They have the least amount of 4 stars and 5 stars, but they get after you. And it's really a fun to watch, to see how fundamentally sound that they are. I know if I'm a coach at Miami and he's got his football players watching this game, and I guess they've got to go back and watch the Alabama game, he's got to bring them. He's got to settle them down. I promise you, in the next game that comes up.
I've heard Coach Saban talking about Signetti's father, though, that you've talked about, Coach, so much. Like,
yes,
I know people sort of think Signetti's come out of nowhere.
Oh,
like the guy, they're a football family, like forever, aren't they, Coach? Like recruiting, coaching, like going way back.
Very much like ours. You know, he talked about the first games he saw as a kid was walking up down the sidelines when my dad was the head coach at West Virginia. As I played, his father, I thought his father was the smartest offensive coach I'd ever met. And I say, when I look at him, I think Nick Saban feels the same way. He reminds me of his father, who was a great coach in his own right, mostly at Indiana University of Pennsylvania. But Kurt Cignetti has spent an entire lifetime getting ready for this in these last 2 years. This didn't happen overnight. He's very smart. He's detailed almost to a fault. He goes over details. But, you know, I was going to say, you keep thinking there's got to be a mistake here or there, and you wonder what might happen. But right now, every week, we begin to see them. They play good in every area. They run the ball well. They receive. They catch. They play defense. They put pressure on the quarterback. Really an amazing first half performance against a very talented Oregon team that many people thought they would have the talent to come back in a second matchup. Remember, this is a second matchup. Oregon's already seen them once, and you would think they would have been ones that might have a chance to upset them.
Have you ever seen him smile, Coach? I mean, well, I don't know what it's going to take. You know, there's got to be a bet on Polymarket. You know, if they win the national championship, will the head coach smile at all?
He doesn't.
Put it up a little.
He smirks. He doesn't smile. He smirks.
He's got that little smirky little.
It's that cocky, confident demeanor that he has. That's one thing. It's probably Kurt's and not his father's. He just has that air about himself that he knows the answer. You know, it's funny. I'm almost embarrassed. When my first 2 years at Auburn at 36, I never lost a game either. I won every single game the first year, and the first 9 as a 36-year-old. And the bad, as I look back, I thought I knew everything. I was an expert at everything. Well, right now, Kurt has passed me up. He is, but you know what? He is an expert. I was 36 when I had that 20 straight win start in college football. He's 62, a lot more experienced, a lot more mature, and it just and has done a great job. We can give him all the accolades that we want, but it does remind me, you know, this game's not over yet in regard to how they finish. Kind of reminds me of that Miami game where that assistant coach tried to pat the head coach on the back before the game was over, and he wasn't going to. He pushed him away. He said, "Hey, it ain't over yet," So I think Kurt's going to want them to finish strong second half, so they are in a positive direction going into the championship game.
Scott, we talked about it 5.5 before the game,
Yes,
Coach. So before the game,
the
game, Coach, we came into tonight and we had point spreads in advance. So if this happens, you can bet on it. And Indiana were 5.5-point favorites against Miami, despite the fact that the game is in Miami. And me and Scott were saying, wow, that these guys are so impressive tonight. I said, I bet you it goes up to 7.5 right now. And it is 7.5 right now.
Yep.
What's your take on this? Your early impression on the matchup? And just my take, Coach, but you talked about Cristobal saying the game's not over yet, and then, he kind of had attitude with the poor girl from the sponsorship last night, the company. Then Scott Van Pelt. I just said, Coach, off the top of my opinion, wait until you win the championship before you go on the revenge tour.
You're exactly right. But I will say that if you're the Miami coaches, you got to go back and get that 13-10. I think that win over Iowa, those games that people played them close, that they didn't score a lot of points, and go back and make sure you're seeing what other people did, because these last two games can be negative almost if you spend too much time.
You're saying don't watch the tape of the last two games.
Yes,
you just said that. You said, no, we're not watching tape of these last two games. You go back, really, that's awesome.
No, the coaches need to watch them. They don't need to show them too much to the players. I think they need to build confidence. Show those players what teams that have held them down to lower scores and have played them close until the end. I mean, not every game went like this in last week, but that's the way Indiana's playing now. And you have to feel like Kurt Cignetti and the Indiana team is beginning to smell blood, and they're beginning to smell that national championship.
Coach, you got a couple more minutes? Can you hold on for the other segment?
Sure will.
All right, great. I'll get your thoughts on what Dan Lanning is telling his club at halftime.
All right.
It's going to open up Pandora's box. But I will say this. I do believe players that sign now, like Najee, should not be eligible now, but should have to sit out and come back in next year. It's just a slippery slope. And I agree with people like Tom Izzo. I don't like it at all.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
OK Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not gonna happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carden Show, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here at the Grid. We're still at the half. We're talking with the coach, Terry Bowden, host of the Bowden Blitz. You see it here on SportsGrid. So, Coach, 35-7. You get what? Probably an extra 5 to 10 minute extra halftime show. So you got a little something here. What in the world could Dan Lanning, head coach of Oregon, be telling his guys right now? What's going on in that Ducks locker room?
Well, you're going to spend more time with your assistant coaches trying to figure out what will work and what won't work. And I imagine they're sitting there saying, that won't work, that won't work, that won't work. And then, oh, here's one, oh, there's one. So you're spending most of your time doing that, letting your kids kind of relax, then getting to them for about 5 minutes. But I'll be honest with you, I've been a head coach in this situation, I hate to admit. And a lot of times as a head coach, you're trying to figure out what you're going to say in a post-game press conference because you know it's going to be ugly if you don't get the thing turned around. I should say that.
What's the biggest comeback you've had at halftime? Anywhere close to this?
You know, I don't know if against LSU in 1996, we were down, I want to say 18-3. And, you know, we beat them like 31-28, never scored an offensive touchdowns. We intercepted 3 passes and took them all in for scores. They fumbled back in the end zone. We recovered it for a score. We kicked 1 field goal and won 31-28.
Wow.
That one will never be repeated. That was an LSU. I think their coach got fired after that game.
They just showed a graphic, guys, here at the half. Indiana have scored a touchdown on 9 of their 14 drives in the college football playoffs.
Wow.
They played, guys, they played a game and a half only. So they played 6 quarters of football. They have 9 touchdowns on 14 drives, Coach.
Hey, Gabe, and you got to, we coaches, we look at these games in a little bit different light. We see execution. We see a tackle in twist on the defensive line that's executed perfectly. We have all been talking among ourselves that they are as fundamentally sound as a staff because they don't have all the best NFL players. Go watch the draft next year. They are the most fundamentally sound, well-coached,
so let me ask you that, Coach.
Yeah.
So next year he's got the Hoover kid coming in from TCU. He's got a big-time recruit, Marsh coming over from Michigan State, etc. So there's not a guy that's a higher than a 3-star recruit on the defensive side of the football right now. It changes though, Coach. You've seen this. You've been around forever.
Yeah.
When you have 1 stars, no stars, walk-ons, 3 stars, guys that want to be there, guys that want to run through a wall, how is it different when you're coaching a 4 and a 5-star guy that's making $2 million a year now suddenly in today's day and age? Right?
Well,
I mean, they got more attitude, don't they, Coach? And you're not coaching the same player anymore.
No, it's definitely a different approach, and I think Kurt Cignetti, because he coached Division II, Division I AA, a group of 5, he's coached at those levels where you mostly got 1, 2, or 3-star athletes, and you've got to get the most out of them, and I think that's what he does a good job doing. But if we're going to talk a little bit about Kurt Cignetti down the road, you know the biggest preparation he's going to have for the future is when he starts losing coaches. It's the one thing that's the hardest thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
You lose that chemistry in your staff. You lose a coordinator as a head coach. It happened to Dabo Sweeney. It happened to my father terribly when he lost Mark Richt and some other ones. That's going to be the next big thing in Indiana with all the success. What's going to happen when you lose to coaches? Can you keep that chemistry going?
Yeah. Do you think he stays there? I mean, I know he just signed a new contract, but we know contracts are worthless in college.
I think he does. First of all, why would you leave? Your whole goal, I think, deep down, is to go win national championships. And he's already made that public statement. Hey, I can win them here. If he goes on to win the national championship, he will have made that statement. But I don't think he's driven.
If he was Lane Kiffin, Coach, he'd leave right now before next week.
I'm
going to Michigan, guys, because I got a better chance. He'd be like, no, you're a week away, Coach. You're a week away.
No. He is a completely different person. I know them both and have coached against them both.
I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't think, he should go to the NFL, but that's what the media does, Coach. And he's so Saban-like, and we saw Saban didn't mesh with NFL players. And college, NFL, completely different world. Cignetti's not an NFL guy, is he? His personality. That doesn't work. He's a college guy.
Well, his brother Frankie has been an NFL coach all his life. Kurt wanted to be a college head football coach. I don't think he has any desire to jump over to the NFL. He would have made that move earlier in his career, I believe, because he's 62 years old. And you know what? He's just now having fun. His career, he's just now having a whole bunch of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, 35-7. Had a whole lot of fun tonight, that's for sure. Coach, great job as always. Mr. Terry
Thanks, Coach.
the Bound and Flip.
Thanks, Scott. Hey, Gabe.